everyone, and welcome to Quarantine Cooking. I'm Veronica, and today I'm going to show you how to make kombucha, aka this stuff. So kombucha is a fermented tea that's bubbly and a little bit tart, and it's very old. It was invented in around 220 BC in northeast China, like the Manchuria region. And since then, it has traveled around the world and has become a very popular drink because of its probiotic properties. And kombucha is very much a live food in the same way that yogurt is probiotic, kombucha is also probiotic. It contains all kinds of bacteria that's really good for your digestion, and it's effervescent as well, and it's just a fun food to make, fun drink to make. So in order to make this kombucha, this flavor is like a blueberry, cherry, ginger, and I'll explain how to flavor that later, but for now we're going to start off making the basic fermented tea. So for that, you're going to need your SCOBY, which is, you know, lovely looking, but they're great. SCOBY stands for Symbiotic Colony of Bacteria and Yeast, SCOBY. And you can purchase these online, or you can create your own. You just need a little more time. You can create your own with a bottle of purchased kombucha and just letting it sit and feeding it with the sugar tea mixture. You can do it that way. This I got online a while ago, but I've been making this for the last 2 years. And I just keep feeding it, and it just keeps going and going. So you'll need at least one SCOBY and about a cup of the starter liquid. That's this, that's this stuff. So you'll also need some tea. I use loose tea because I don't want to use tea bags. I want to reduce waste, but you can totally use tea bags. For every gallon, you'll need about 8 to 12 bags of tea. And for every gallon, you'll need 2 tablespoons of loose tea. So this stuff here is a green tea with some lemon ginger in it. I find it very tasty. And then you'll just need some plain sugar. Some people think organic sugar is better because it ferments more readily, but I haven't had a problem with plain white sugar. So whatever you prefer. You'll also need measuring cups. Here's a cup measure and a tablespoon measure. A spoon, it's important not to use metal spoons because the acid in the kombucha can corrode the metal and also cause the metal ions to leach into the mixture, which is not good. So plastic or wood is better. Spoon, something to strain the tea with, and a bowl to put your cooled strained tea into before you pour it into the gallon jugs. So I have water boiling right now. I'm about to grab it. I'll be right back. Okay, so this water is all ready to go. It's hot. Just came off the stove. And to that, I'm going to add the tea. So I'm making 2 gallon jars of kombucha, which means I'll need about 4 tablespoons of tea, or a quarter cup. 4 tablespoons is a quarter cup. It smells good. So here's the 1, 2, 3, 4. A little extra. So that's good. And then for every gallon, you'll need about a cup of sugar. So I'm gonna also add that to the water while it's warm/hot, because it will dissolve more easily that way. So there's a little bit less than a gallon here, so I'm gonna do like a scant 2 cups, like 1 3/4 cups. And it seems like a lot. It seems like a lot of sugar, but it all gets eaten up by the bacteria, which is, you know, which is contained in these SCOBYs. So, awkward. So there's like a little under a cup of sugar. Into the pot it goes. Yeah, the food for the SCOBY is just your sweetened tea. So you just basically make a big batch of sweet tea, and then once it's cooled down to like lukewarm or room temperature, you put it into the gallon jars. Because this right now is way too hot for the SCOBY, and the bacteria will die if you, you know, if you put the water in when it's too hot. So just be careful of that. It's worse. Ooh, my glass is fogged up. Oops. It's better better to err on the side of caution. So if the mixture is cooler, it's not going to mess things up. But if the mixture is hot like this, that could kill your poor little SCOBY, and you don't want that. Okay, so I'm stirring this and it's dissolving pretty well. And most of the time when you're making a regular cup of tea, it just says like steep for 5 to 10 minutes or whatever. But I'm gonna let this sit and just let it be and let it cool with the leaves still in it. That's what I like to do. And then once it has cooled, we're gonna strain it. So we'll leave this be for a little bit and I'll see you in a minute. Last time I saw you, we had started to steep the tea and added the sugar to the tea mix. And now it's been about 2 to 3 hours later and the mix is fairly cooled down. It feels lukewarm to the touch. Just like, use your own judgment. If it's uncomfortably hot, it's definitely still too hot for the bacteria. So it feels good. For this part, you'll need a big bowl, a strainer. This is a nut milk bag, but you could use like a cheesecloth or like a fine mesh strainer if you have that. And what we're gonna do is just take all the tea leaves out of the mix. So I'm gonna pour it into this bowl and try not to make a mess. Okay, I don't think all of the stuff in this pot is going to fit into this bowl, so I'm going to take that out for now, and I'm going to pour this back into the kombucha jars, because these little SCOBYs are very hungry and they need to be fed. Oops, I spilled it on the wrist. And I have a feeling this might not completely fill the jars, but that's okay. You can just add warm water to the rest of it because you have the proper amounts of tea and sugar in there. You can add more water to fill it, so I'm gonna do that right now. I'm back. So I got some warm water to just finish filling these jars up. And fill it, leave a little bit of space so that the SCOBY can grow. Darn it! Yeah, that's good. So, I'm gonna make sure your spoon is clean, but I want to give it a little bit of a stir. Clean spoon. So just give it a little bit of a stir to mix the sweet tea with the water. Just make sure everything's well combined. This one's a little bit, not quite as much liquid as the other, but it's totally fine. It's It hardly makes a difference. So, and then you're gonna put the cheesecloth over. This is good because it prevents fruit flies and things like that from getting in. It keeps it clean. So just like a layer, like this is a cheesecloth I got with the jar, but you can just take a piece of fabric. This is just a piece of muslin that I had, and you can use that as well to seal the jars. So put a rubber band on it. Make sure it's completely on there. And what I like to do is add tape and label to label the jars, because I don't always remember when I brewed the batch or whatever. So I said March 17th, each of these, and these are good to go. Just make sure the outside of the jar is clean so it doesn't, you know, it's a little bit sticky right now, so I'm gonna wipe that off, and I'm gonna put them on top of my fridge, and I'm gonna let those sit for about 10 days, and then I'll check them after that. So March 27th. And also this is a great quarantine project, because 10 days from now we'll still be in our apartments, so it's a great opportunity to do fermentation projects like this. So yeah, anyway, thanks a lot. Spread cheer, not germs, and I will see you next time.